When your child turns 18, they're legally considered an adult, even though they have a lot more growing to do, though they may not even think so. Just like any other adult, their health and financial information is protected by privacy laws. But unlike any other adult, that's still your child, and you want to be there to support them in a crisis. Unless you've planned ahead, you won't be able to step in and support your child. As an estate planning attorney, I often see families caught off guard when I tell them this. Like those families, you may also assume that as a parent, you'll always have a say in your child's medical and financial matters. But you don't. Under the law, you have just as much access to their medical and financial information as you do for Joe down the street, which is none. The good news is that with proper planning, you can help your newly minted adult child navigate this transition and ensure you're able to step in if something happens. Here, I'll share 3 strategies to help you and your child make the transition to their adulthood as easily as possible. Strategy number 1, education. The first strategy for a successful transition to adulthood is education. At Summit Legacy Law, we start every client relationship with education. That's because I believe that education equals empowerment, which supports you to make the right choices for yourself and your family. Young adults also need to be empowered through education. The more you can teach your child about their new financial and legal responsibilities, the more empowered they'll be to make the right decisions. If you haven't already started talking with them about legal and financial matters, now's the time. Start with a kind of budgeting we call money mapping. Explain the importance of tracking their income and expenses, setting financial goals, and investing wisely, both now and for the future. Help them understand the basics of banking, such as how to use checking and savings accounts, the benefits of maintaining a good credit score, and assist them in setting up their own bank account if they don't already have one. Explain how to avoid overdrafts and the significance of keeping track of their balance. Introduce them to how to access credit and use it responsibly. Explain how credit cards work, the importance of paying off balances in full each month, when it's okay to carry a balance, and the long-term benefits of building a positive credit history. And let's not forget your child's new tax obligations. Teach them how to file taxes, what documents they need, and how to understand their W-2 forms or what it means to be a 1099. Explain the importance of keeping accurate records and how to navigate basic tax software. Healthcare is another critical area where your child needs education. Let your child know that you can't make medical decisions for them and you won't have access to their health records anymore, unless they give it to you. I'll cover which essential documents they need in a minute. But first, let's talk about the importance of communication and helping them document their wishes properly. So strategy number 2, encourage communication. Adulthood often involves having difficult conversation, as if I'm telling you anything new that you don't know. 2 of those conversations to have with your child have to do with their healthcare and financial decisions in the event of emergency. First off, I want to say that even thinking about your child being in an emergency and medical emergency situation is very hard, and much less talking about it. And it will probably be much harder for you than it will be for them. It's okay. Just take a deep breath. You can do this. After you've breathed your way out to being calm, have an open conversation about what your child would want to happen in various medical scenarios. If they became incapacitated, who would they want to make decisions on their behalf? Both parents, or one of you first, then the other? Or do they want anyone else involved in the medical decisions if they cannot make them on their own? Be open to the possibilities that they have other people in their life that they may want to include, and be glad they're telling you about it if that's the case. Do they know what a ventilator is and whether they would like one if that became an issue? What about a feeding or hydration tube? And what about resuscitation? It's necessary to talk about these things so your child's wishes are honored. Who would they want to have access to them in case of an accident or an illness? Once you know the answers to these questions, you can help your child create a healthcare directive and medical power of attorney. Have the same conversation about finances. Do you know which and how many financial accounts they have? If they're in college, how will you access their accounts to stop tuition payments or housing payments if necessary? Will you be able to access their checking account if bills need to be paid? Your child may be reluctant to discuss these matters with you, but assure them that you have no intent to violate their autonomy. You simply want to be there for them if needed. So strategy number 3, legal planning. Once you and your child have had these difficult conversations, emphasize the need to get a legal plan in place so their wishes are documented and honored. At the least, your adult child's legal plan should include the following documents: healthcare power of attorney and advance directive. That's one. A healthcare proxy or power of attorney grants someone, usually you, the parent, the authority to make medical decisions on your child's behalf if they cannot. An advance directive complements this by outlining their medical treatment preferences in various scenarios, ensuring their wishes are respected even when they cannot voice them. HIPAA authorization is another document. HIPAA authorization is equally important. HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's designed to protect patient privacy, but it can also prevent you, the parent, from accessing your child's medical information without their explicit permission. By signing a HIPAA authorization, your child can ensure that you can speak with doctors and receive updates on their condition. Another document is a living will. A living will is another important document to consider. This outlines your child's wishes regarding end-of-life care, such as whether they want to receive life-sustaining treatments. Having these preferences documented can provide clarity and guidance during difficult times, ensuring that their wishes are honored. Next is financial power of attorney. A financial power of attorney allows your adult child to appoint someone, usually you, the parent, to manage their financial affairs if they're unable to do so. This can include everything from paying bills to managing bank accounts and handling investments. Without this document, you might find it difficult to step in and help when needed. It may also be important for your adult child to have a plan in place for what happens after death. If that's the case, they need a will or a trust. Finally, circumstances will change, so let your child know it's important to review their documents and do it regularly and update them as needed. Encourage your young adult to revisit their decisions periodically, especially if they experience significant life changes, such as getting married, moving to a new state, or starting a new job. At Summit Legacy Law, constant contact is part of our process, so our clients never have to remember on their own to update their plan. We do the remembering for you. So your next steps. Now that you're armed with these 3 strategies for navigating your child's transition into adulthood, your next step is to book a complimentary discovery call with our firm so we can support you to have these conversations and to get your child's legal plan in place. And before you go thinking that you don't need an attorney and can use a cheap online tool or maybe even AI, I encourage you to think about what's at stake. Your child's health and well-being, your child's growth, the opportunity to teach your child about how to prioritize the things that matter most. When I work with you, one of the best things I can do is to get to know your children as they become adults. Ideally, it will be me or my firm that they will turn to for guidance throughout their lifetime and to be there for them when you can be. No cheap legal plan can do that. At Summit Legacy Law, we know that navigating the transition to adulthood can be challenging, both for you and your child. Understanding the legal changes that come with turning 18 and using the 3 legal documents in this video and the conversations that go along with them can help you provide the support and guidance your children need. But you don't need to navigate this transition alone. We can educate you and your child about their new legal responsibilities, support you to have the hard conversations, and help your child put a legal plan in place. Contact us to learn how our life and legacy planning process supports your family to make the very best decisions about the things that matter most. Check out the link in the description to schedule a 15-minute conversation.